Speaking of trash that makes money, Robert Sarver.
Oh,
floor's yours.
So, thank you for that setup, Mike.
Speaking of fecal matter, Robert Sarver.
NBA owner of the Phoenix Suns, Robert Sarver. In case you don't know, they had an 11th month investigation on this man. He was fined at the end of the investigation 1 year. He cannot be anywhere near the organization, the Suns or the Mercury, the WNBA team. He can't be in the building. He can't be any place around the facilities. He's gone. He's banished for a year. Now, the problem is it was all the allegations that went down. Everything that Donald Sterling did and said, Robert Sarver did pretty much the same thing. Sterling had to sell his team. Sarver, $10 million fine, which to a billionaire ain't that much, okay? I hate spending other people's money, but it's not that much. The difference is there's a lot of different things. But let me tell you, he,
Give people some examples.
that's what I was about to do. A lot of things that he said, well, I'll only repeat it, but like in 2016, I guess in a game against Golden State, he was angry about what Draymond Green was saying, so he comes in there and he's talking to his coach at the time, Earl Watson, saying, basically dropping M-bomb after M-bomb. The coach is like, whoa, slow your roll. You can't really say that. Well, Draymond said it, so I can say it too. It must be okay. But the reason, why he recruited and got Earl Watson to be his coach? Because he simply said, Earl, you speak their language. Yes, their language. The reason why he wanted Lindsey Hunter to be his coach over Dan Marley. Lindsey Hunter was just into being that thing. He said, well, to paraphrase, these N's need an N. These N-words need an N-word. Because, once again, they speak the language. These are the things that he routinely said without blinking, without saying anything. A ton of people went and interviewed against him and said everything that he said.
There was stuff against women.
The findings was the reason why he did this after 11 months, Mike, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I think, but the NBA came in and said 1 year, $10 million. Because all of his yelling and all of his cruelty, well, it was just him being an ass. It wasn't racially or sexually motivated. It had nothing to do with the race or the gender of the person. He just liked being a dick, and that's what he was. So therefore, we didn't see it that way. People were outraged, came out and said, well, why did I testify? Why did I do all this? The reason why he still has it over Donald Sterling, who had to give up his team, it's multiple things. One, everybody hated. I think all the other owners hated Donald Sterling. So they wanted him gone. And by him forcing his team in L.A., it drove up the property value of every team out there. L.A., prime media market. Number 2, Mike, you're not selling the Lakers, but you know what? If you can sell the Clippers are going to go for a pretty penny. And once they go up, everybody else's franchise is worth more. That's why. Plus, there was no public outcry, and there's 2 types of crimes in this world nowadays. It's the things that you do that the people see, and it's things you do that people don't see. For Donald Sterling, it was TMC, it was V. Stiviani, it was the tapes. He drugged Magic Johnson in this.
There was a national TV interview.
Right. Everybody got to see this. Everybody saw it. Sponsors threatened to pull out from the NBA. NBA had to do something. No sponsors are threatening to pull because of what the Phoenix Suns owner is doing and saying. The players, now have LeBron, you now have Chris Paul coming in, but it's kind of after the fact where they weren't this outraged as the process was going on. But now that it's over, it's like, well, the NBA could have done more. They could have done differently. Yeah, this is kind of, okay, I want to look like I'm really involved, but I'm not involved. Basically, it seems like LeBron and Chris Paul are kind of like the people who wear the ribbon. You don't really want to do anything, but you support the cause by wearing a ribbon. But you won't actually do something to help out the cause. That's where they are. And Adam Silver, once again, the fact that because there was no public outcry, I think he knows this should probably go the same way. He was 14 months on the job when he laid down the law on Donald Sterling, this was the same thing. This guy should be forced to sell his franchise, but it's not going to happen. It's a joke of what the NBA did. But, yeah, the reason being, it's the market. It's Phoenix. I don't think people care. There's no outcry. You didn't see the salaciousness. You didn't see him on video saying something. So that's the big difference where, yeah, he didn't drag somebody in. But, yeah, when he says that, well, we need to hire Lindsey Hunter over Dan Marley because, quote, these N-words, well, they need an N-word. Yeah.
Well, I take it a different way. This is where I get upset with LeBron is, well, I don't need to explain why the league definitely got it wrong. No, you do. But see, LeBron knows why Robert Sarver's not selling his team. He knows why. Just like I know why and you know why and David knows why. I don't think it's the market thing, but I'm not interested in arguing it. It's simple. Owners don't want a level of accountability. Owners do not want to be judged by their peer group because their peer group knows their own skeletons.
Yeah.
It's the same reason Daniel Snyder's held on to the Commanders /football team /Redskins. It's the same reason that John Gruden's emails got released and none of the other ones did.
Right. You never found out who Gruden was talking to.
No.
Yeah.
No, like, well, Bruce Allen was
right,
in a
but
lot
you
of
never
those.
saw those.
But, like, here it's simple. We have always said to you, you really don't want to know the people who own your teams because in a large way, many of these guys are horrific people. Robert Sarver's been known as a very bad guy for a very long time. But the owners, look, Adam Silver is Goodell. Goodell is Silver. He's a meat shield for the other owners. So the players getting upset at Adam, it's really just take a look around the room, the people that employ Adam, and they don't want to come together. They could have Sarver out of the league in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. All call. Every governor /owner on the call. Unanimous vote. This dude's a piece. We're getting him out. Yay or nay. All yays, he's out.
Right.
He can do whatever he wants to do because here's the bottom line. There's a code of conduct. Mm-hmm. Owning a team's not a right. It's a privilege. You are a part of our league. But this has been the case since the very beginning. Look at what the NFL owners have done. Look at what baseball owners have done. It's just
because here's the thing. After you get off that call with Sarver, and the next day you could have just spin the wheel, and owner, we're going to now dig into your thing. Correct. And before you know it, probably 80% of the league will be up for sale.
Well, that's my point. They don't want the same level of accountability they hold their players to.
Right.
So we don't need to guess why Adam Silver did what he did. It's as far as he could take it. And unlike Roger Goodell, he doesn't have this infinity gauntlet power where he can just do whatever he wants to do. So, look, I have mocked Sarver for a decade. I didn't realize he so loosely threw around the N-bomb delight, but okay. The point is he's a piece. He's always been a piece. He's the same guy who left a live goat in his GM's office over a weekend, and the goat, what do you think that he did? He bleeped and bleeped all over this guy's office. A bad dude. So, should he be gone? Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's my point.
He won't.
He won't, and we know why.
Right.
And sure, if you want to say if it was New York or L.A., there'd be a heightened response. I'm not arguing it. For me, Rico, this is going to sound terrible. I don't think fans care.
No, and
I don't think fans care.
Mike, that's just what because you didn't get to see it. Once again, different sport, but I'll use the same example. Ray Rice, before we saw the video, was only suspended for 2 games. You heard about it, but once you saw the video, you now saw what domestic violence looks like. And people were outraged. Oh, my God, you can't have this guy in the league. Really? Because just 48 hours ago, everybody was okay with the 2-game suspension. Right. You saw it. With John Gruden, you read it. With Donald Sterling, you saw it and heard it. For this, it's hearsay.
And Sterling was so beyond the pale, as Rico said, video, audio, then the disastrous national TV interview.
Trying to clean it up.
The other owners could basically get together and go, well, look, we've known you're a pile for about 40 years. And we covered up for you. But you now have done this to yourself to a point we can't save you. See, with Sarver, the other owners are just going to bank on time moves quickly, and they'll rally together. No one's going to comment on it. Sure, Chris Paul said what he said or LeBron said what he said. The bottom line is by the time the NBA starts in the real world, Christmas Day, fans are not even going to think about this.
Right.
Which is, I don't know what to call it. David, go, because I know you had thoughts on it too. I mean, what's right and what's real are just two seemingly different things.
Yeah, and I think we all know that. But let me bring out a point here that I think a lot of people aren't noticing is who was a player on that Clippers team that is a player currently on the Phoenix Suns?
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, who was vocal with the team, flipping the jersey inside out for warm-ups, all that protest stuff that they did. But he's not as vocal as he was with that situation, with this situation. I'm not saying what Sarver did is right. I'm not saying that, oh my gosh, he's this great dude. But I think that's significant. Chris Paul is not outraged like he was with Donald Sterling. And that, to me, is significant, and he ain't going nowhere.
Right. Well, Chris Paul came out and said, like many others, I reviewed the report. I was and am horrified and disappointed by what I read. This conduct, especially towards women, is unacceptable and must never be repeated. That was one of the things that he said.
Yeah, the bottom part is I am of the view sanctions fell short in addressing what we can all agree is atrocious behavior. My heart goes out to the people that were affected. Here's my thing, David, and maybe I'm out of turn saying it, but your owner essentially is hurling racial slurs in the workplace left and right. How about you as a grown-ass man and a husband and a father and the franchise player of that team, come out and just say it. I'm not playing for this guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're 37 years old. You're Chris Paul. You're the head of the players.
Right, you're headed to the Hall of Fame.
Right, you got the cachet. If you want to make change, don't do, I'm sorry for everybody that was affected. Were you not affected? Last time I checked, you're a grown black man.
But that's why I said it's significant that he's not saying anything here. Maybe he doesn't feel that it's as bad as Donald Sterling.
Nah, I can't say that. I think for this, David, to me, this is my issue, and I don't want to make these guys the problem over Sarver. Sarver's the problem. But the players have to be better. They got to be stronger. LeBron always likes to be the guy who puts the 16th bullet in the dead mule.
That's a good way to put it.
You know, like, no, LeBron, everyone, you're a global icon. Step to the plate. Straight up. Rally the players. If you really say, hey, this is wholly unacceptable, and it's not about it's not about me, it's about we. Chris Paul is the president of the Players Union.
And he's there on the team,
right,
in the building.
You're at the epicenter. So you start with your own teammates. He owns the team. We don't show.
And I understand everything you're saying. You're right. They need to step up and do something. But to that point, I don't think it's the player's job to do it. Silver and the owners have to step up first.
David, you damn well know every day we come to work, there's plenty of things all of us do that aren't our job in order to get stuff done. I can't let him off the hook that way. And his word soup response, look, man, we had a conversation before the show. I could say Robert Sarver's a piece of crap. I can be like, oh, damn, he talks like that. But that doesn't mean I know what it's like to be black or don't know how you guys feel about it, right?
Right.
That's the point. Chris Paul is a father of like 4. He's grown. You are a superstar. You are the player union rep. Do more.
Now, to add to that, yeah, being that he's in the building, he could have got with his teammates because here we already saw something like that happen when the Milwaukee Bucks said, guess what, guys? After George Floyd, we're not taking the floor tonight. Sorry. We don't feel up to it.
Right.
There's a lot of things going on in this city. We're not playing this game. What did the NBA do? Nothing. You know what? How about we postpone the game? We'll talk about it, and we'll help you out with this cause.
Right. And this isn't a singular transgression. When they can create a 43-page report about Robert Sarver, I think we've got what we need.
11 months.